Butter is a product most people know very well. It is used every day for cooking, baking, and spreading on bread. It melts in a pan, softens at room temperature, and hardens in the fridge. Butter is valued for its texture and taste. It adds richness to food and changes how ingredients combine. In everyday use, it feels smooth, dense, and uniform. This piece of butter has been handled many times. It has been cut, stored, and exposed to air. Its surface carries subtle marks from temperature changes and contact. Before examining it, the sample is prepared. The surface is cleaned and trimmed to remove contamination. This helps ensure that what is observed comes from the butter itself, not from dust or residue picked up during handling. At normal scale, butter looks simple. A solid block with an even color and soft structure. Nothing about it suggests complexity. Now the butter is placed under the microscope. Let's take a closer look at the structure behind a product that feels familiar, smooth, and uncomplicated in everyday life. At 80 times magnification, butter appears as a continuous, dense surface. The field of view is filled with a fine, granular texture that looks uniform at first glance. Color remains relatively even, with only slight variations across the sample. Small, dark specks and lighter regions are scattered irregularly. These areas suggest differences in density within the material. The surface does not look smooth or glassy. Instead, it appears matte and compact, as if tightly packed. At this level, butter still feels solid and stable. Its structure is present, but individual components are not yet clearly separated. The overall impression is of a dense material held together without obvious boundaries. At 200 times magnification, internal variation becomes easier to see. The previously uniform surface begins to break into distinct regions. Tiny rounded features appear throughout the field of view. They vary slightly in size and brightness and are unevenly distributed. Some areas look more compact and darker. Others appear lighter and more loosely structured. A soft boundary can be seen where different regions meet. These boundaries are irregular and curved rather than straight. At this scale, butter no longer looks completely homogeneous. Its internal structure begins to suggest separation between components. At 800 times magnification, butter transforms into a complex, microscopic landscape. The view is filled with countless rounded and irregular shapes packed closely together. Individual elements become more clearly defined. Many appear as small circular or oval forms embedded in a continuous matrix. The spacing between these elements is minimal, creating a dense arrangement. The surface now looks highly textured rather than solid. Subtle differences in size, brightness, and shape give the image depth. At this scale, butter no longer feels like a simple solid. It appears layered and structured, built from many small components interacting tightly. At 2,000 times magnification, butter becomes almost completely abstract. The familiar idea of a solid food disappears. The frame is dominated by tightly packed microscopic structures. Rounded elements are clearly visible, pressed against one another with little empty space. Their outlines are soft but distinct, creating a dense mosaic across the image. Some regions appear more ordered, while others look slightly irregular. This variation gives the structure a sense of depth and movement. At this level, butter no longer reads as smooth or uniform. It appears as a complex system shaped by fat, water, and physical arrangement. This hidden structure exists inside something used every day, yet it is never noticed without magnification. If you enjoy seeing how familiar foods are built beneath the surface, like the video, subscribe to the channel and explore more everyday materials under the microscope.